Folks, in my 20 years in the league, I've never seen anything like this. The kind of upheaval, clandestine negotiations, and seismic shifts that are quietly happening behind the scenes right now could redefine the NFL landscape for years to come. And let me tell you, what I'm about to reveal might just be the biggest blockbuster trade story of the decade. Something so explosive, so game-changing, that it could instantly elevate the Detroit Lions from a ferocious playoff contender to a true Super Bowl favorite. But here's the catch. This secret is guarded closer than the crown jewels, and only a handful of insiders even know the full scope. Trust me when I say, what you're about to hear could turn the entire NFL upside down. Buckle up, because what I'm about to share isn't just speculation. It's a high-stakes game of chess with stakes that are practically apocalyptic in scope. Now, before we dive headfirst into this revelation, I need you to do one thing. Smash that subscribe button, hit like with force, and activate that bell with a vengeance. Why? Because only the insiders, the ones truly in the know, get the full picture. If you're just here for clickbait, scroll away. But if you want the real story, the one they don't want you to hear, you better lock in now. This is the kind of intel that separates fans from true insiders, and trust me, what's coming will blow your mind. Let me take you behind the curtain. We're talking about a clandestine meeting that took place just days ago, an ultra-secret session where top brass from the Houston Texans, led by GM Nick Caserio, and the strategic brain trust working tirelessly in the shadows, laid out the ultimate blueprint. Word is the Texans are preparing to make a move so bold, so unprecedented, it makes the DeAndre Hopkins trade look like a small step. They want a star, someone who can instantly transform their defense and put Houston on a new level of dominance. And that star, it's not just any player, it's Will Anderson Jr., the reigning NFL Defensive Player of the Year, a two-time Pro Bowler and an All-Pro whose impact is so profound. Opposing offensive coordinators are losing sleep just trying to scheme against him. Now here's where it gets even darker. The whispers coming out of Houston suggest that Anderson's camp has been approached by insiders, very powerful, very connected insiders, who have hinted at a trade that could send shockwaves through the league. But why would Houston even consider it? The answer is simple: cap space, strategic repositioning, and the desire to build a defense that can dominate not just this season, but for the next decade. Plus, Houston's front office is acutely aware that Anderson wants to be a Texan for life. But they're also aware that in this league, sometimes even loyalty has a price. And right now, the price might be the ultimate price, sending Anderson to a team that's desperate for a game changer, a franchise-defining talent. Now I know what you're thinking. This sounds wild, impossible even. But look, nothing is impossible in the NFL anymore. Big trades happen every year, and with the Lions emerging as a true powerhouse under Dan Campbell, who's built a team that plays with reckless abandon and relentless grit, it's no stretch to imagine they're now eyeing their next big move. Especially if that move involves someone like Will Anderson Jr. The Lions need an elite pass rusher, someone to complement their already formidable defense, someone to tilt the balance of power in the NFC. And Anderson, he's the perfect piece. But what if I told you that this isn't just about the talent? It's strategic, it's calculated, almost chess-like, and the real players are operating in a shadowy spectrum of negotiations that only a select few even have a glimpse of. So, hold tight, because what I'm about to unfold over the next few minutes will challenge everything you thought you knew about NFL trades. We're going deep into the very fabric of this potential deal, how it could happen, why it makes so much sense, and why it might just be the one that shakes the league to its core. And trust me, as someone who's spent decades scouting talent, watching film, and understanding the inner workings of NFL front offices, I can tell you, this is nothing short of legendary. Let's start with the obvious, the Detroit Lions. Since Dan Campbell took over, this team has been on a meteoric rise, transforming from a middling squad into NFC contenders. They've already shattered expectations with their 15-2 season in 2024, a franchise record. Jared Goff has emerged as a legitimate star, and their defense, led by rookies and savvy veterans, has been gritty, aggressive, and relentless. But what do they still lack? That one game-changing pass rusher who can hit quarterbacks like a freight train, who can turn the tide in a split second. They've been linked to aggressive moves this offseason, dipping into the trade market, exploring options in the draft. But what if their biggest move hasn't even been on the radar? What if behind closed doors the Lions are secretly pushing for a player who would make their dreams of a Super Bowl a near certainty? That player, Will Anderson Jr. Now, let's analyze Anderson's film, break down what makes him so unstoppable. From a technical standpoint, this kid is a freak of nature. His burst off the line is jaw-dropping. His get-off is comparable to the best in NFL history. Combine that with hand techniques that are refined beyond his years, and you've got a pass rusher who can beat tackles with pure speed or brute power. His arsenal of moves is diverse. Inside counters, rip moves, bull rushes, and he uses every bit of his elite strength and agility to win. Watching his game tape from 2025, you see a player who's constantly winning on third down, a guy who drives quarterbacks into panic mode with relentless pressure. But the stats tell an even more compelling story. In 2025, Anderson racked up 12 sacks, setting a career high, and maintained a pressure rate of 20.5%, second in the league. His 85 quarterback pressures, more than most teams' entire defensive line, are a testament to his dominance. And let's not forget his impact against the run. His motor and relentless pursuit make him a dual threat, a cornerstone piece no offense can ignore. Advanced metrics from next-gen stats show he's one of the most disruptive players in the league. Pressure per snap, forced fumbles, hits on the quarterback, all point to a player who's not just good but transcendent. Now here's where it gets even more intriguing. His Pro Football Focus grade in 2025 was off the charts, a perfect 95.1, the highest among any edge rusher. He's a game winner, a difference maker, and with the right scheme, he could be unleashed even more. The Lions' defensive staff, under Aaron Glenn, has shown a deft ability to develop pass rushers, and with Campbell's aggressive philosophy, Anderson's talents could be maximized to a point where opponents would be shaking in their boots. So, let's get into the mechanics of how this trade could potentially unfold. The Texans, sitting on a star like Anderson, aren't just going to give him away. They'll want a king's ransom, a combination of high draft picks, promising young talent, and perhaps even a veteran or two to sweeten the deal. The Lions, in turn, could go all in, offering their 2026 first-round pick, a high-value second, and a promising young player, maybe a Mariota or a Penei Sewell or even an emerging receiver. The cap space? It's tight but not insurmountable. The Lions are masters at maneuvering around the salary cap, restructuring deals, releasing veterans, and creating space to make room for Anderson's lucrative extension. And that's the other part. Anderson isn't just a rental. The Texans would want a commitment, a long-term deal, something in the ballpark of a $50 million annual average, with guaranteed money that secures his future and signals their serious intent. This would be a massive financial commitment, but one that could pay off tenfold if Anderson continues his current trajectory. Think about the ripple effect. A Lions defense featuring Anderson rushing alongside Aiden Hutchinson, transforming their front into one of the league's nightmares. It would create pressure packages that confound even the most prepared offenses, while also freeing up other playmakers to excel. Opposing quarterbacks. They'd be sweating bullets every time they step into Ford Field. Now, where does this leave Houston? Well, they'd be getting a haul of picks and prospects, players who can help rebuild or retool their defense for the future. They'd have cap flexibility and the ability to chase a franchise quarterback or other star free agents. The Texans are in a rebuild but also hunting for that next wave of elite talent. Anderson's departure could accelerate their rebuild, especially if they land a high draft pick and a couple of future stars. But here's the kicker. This isn't just about the players involved. It's about the narrative, the new power dynamics in the NFL. The Lions, under Campbell and Holmes, have already shown they're willing to be aggressive, moving up in drafts, taking chances, and embracing the chaos. Adding Anderson would be the ultimate statement, an acknowledgement that they're not just building a team, they're building a dynasty. And I'm telling you, if this trade goes down, it will be remembered for generations. Anderson's impact, it's immediate. His presence on the Lions would turn Ford Field into an absolute fortress. Opposing quarterbacks, they'd be praying for divine intervention. And the league, it would shift on its axis. The NFL is a league of parity, yes, but some moves are so bold, so revolutionary that they can't be stopped. So what's the timeline? The offseason is still young, but whispers suggest that Houston is prepared to listen, significantly more than before. The Lions. They're quietly making their play, positioning themselves as serious contenders for this once-in-a-lifetime piece. Deals this big. They don't happen overnight, but insiders say the groundwork is already laid. Expect a flurry of calls, negotiations heating up in the coming weeks, and a potential seismic shift that could set the tone for the next decade. In conclusion, this story isn't just about a trade. It's about a statement, a declaration that some teams are willing to do whatever it takes to seize greatness. And right now, the team most poised to make that leap is the Detroit Lions, with a secret weapon that could redefine their entire franchise. Will it happen? That's the million-dollar question. But one thing's for certain. When the dust settles, the NFL as we know it might be unrecognizable. Stay locked in because the next chapter is coming. And trust me, it might just be the most legendary story in league history.